My name is Harry Patch, Lieutenant, and when I finished in Guam, I came to the Navy Communication Headquarters here in Washington, and I got involved in increasing schools and duties, and went to school at NSA, and I was in an airplane as an observer, and there was a single-engine airplane, and the engine quit over the woods. Down into the jungles we went, and I broke my neck and my back. And, I was in Bethesda for several months, and I went back. They tried limited duty for a while, but that didn't work. I could never pass a physical, so I was discharged on a disability as a lieutenant. And after I was able to move around a while, the office that I worked at was a Navy Comm System Headquarters under CNO, and they got a contractor to hire me back as a civilian and right back to the same job that I had, which was developing new things in communications. At that time, we got involved in airborne VLF to talk to submarines, and I had a crew, and we put together the very first one. We had a lot of mishaps. We borrowed an airplane, and it was held very close. It wasn't classified secret. It just was kept secret. And we never had a problem with the airplanes, but we lost a lot of antenna wire because the antennas are 25, 30,000 feet long. When we first proposed this, the people over at the Bureau of Aeronautics said, you can't do that because you can't trail an antenna wire. Unfortunately, there was an office next door, and a young lieutenant commander says, who says you can't do that? He says, when I was flying, he says, I traditionally had 40 and 45,000 feet of wire out. I said, who are you? He says, I'm Lieutenant Commander Fishko. And he says, I trail target towing. And he says, I wanted at least 40,000 feet between me and the guy that's shooting those things. Well, with that, the opposition folded, so then we got all kinds of support. And of course, it evolved into a very special program that exists today with new airplanes. Today it's called TACAMO. Admiral Roeder coined the name TACAMO because there was a young lieutenant who had just finished flight school in the C-130 airplanes, which we were trying to get. And so when he called him in, he said, young man, he says, take charge and march off. That's where the name TACAMO came from. And trying to think the name of the lieutenant, he later on made Vice Admiral. Anyway, the program evolved, and the Air Force tried desperately to also get an airborne VLF because at the time the guy in charge of the Air Force program was trying to get to be control of all the strategic weapons. And the Secretary of Defense said, okay, he says, you can communicate with the Army's missiles in the ground and your bombers carrying nuclear weapons, but he said, you show me how you're going to communicate with the submarines. Well, they couldn't, of course, and so the Navy retained control of the nuclear submarine. And for a while, the nuclear submarines was our main deterrent.
Yes, they were.
Anyway, I stayed another 19 years as a Navy civilian, and I retired in 1980.